Double, double, toil and trouble. Some topics discussed may make people uncomfortable. For fair is foul and foul is fair. On this podcast, we will definitely swear. A lot. Now round the cauldron go, trigger warnings listed in the notes below. Thrice and once the hedge pig whined, the cocktails cry, it's time, it's time.
By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes. Maiden, mother, crone. Plot twist, we're all the crone. The stories aren't all made up and the points don't matter.
Welcome listeners to The Weird Sisters, a podcast about the blurst and bizarre and all the things you are happier not knowing about.
I am a safe house from the lurking evil in the white beyond. Laura.
A 9-month walk home and just fucking dying along the way. Tay.
I'm in the telephone pole scene from Hereditary. La, it's me, I'm back.
Yay! With a sick
They're back,
decapitation.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
The telephone pole in Hereditary.
Yeah, the telephone pole,
yeah,
exactly.
The sick decapitation.
Yeah, the decapitation one,
Yeah.
and the shot straight after. Absolute gold.
Mwah, beautiful. Just glorious.
Mwah.
Spoilers, by the way, but if you haven't watched it by now, I mean, come on.
Yeah, come on.
I am that person who hasn't seen it yet.
Oh, no!
No. I don't care. It's fine. I've seen, by osmosis of, like, popular culture, I've pretty much seen it.
I was going to say, if you watch any, top 5 scariest movies and things like that, YouTube scenes, you've pretty much seen that movie.
Oh, yeah.
The whole
And
way.
I watched plenty of those. Yes.
Beautiful. Welcome back. We're late.
We are late, but it's fine. We're here now.
Exactly. And we have a special guest, as you may have noticed.
Yeah,
It's love.
absolutely. I'm here.
They're back.
As I said before, it's my podcast now.
She's assimilated.
I own it. I'm actually the boss.
Fair enough. Fully, yeah, okay. Well, look,
Please
both
don't
of us
fire
are
us.
too lazy and meek to do anything about that.
It's fine. Don't take our lunch money.
Yeah, please.
Well, we got some interesting stories today, don't we?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Lacey is not with us this week because she is having a friend taken from her. Another friend. Another piece of her is being stolen by the hospital. But we'll let her tell you what is happening when she comes back, because I'm sure she'll love to share the gory details, as she always does. And I know people love our medical stories. So that'll be something for her to tell. But she is okay, and she will be back. She just can't be with us this week. So La has graciously stepped in, saved the day.
Yes, indeed, but she will be missed.
Yes. Thank you, La.
Thank you, absolute fucking champion.
Right? Legend.
No worries. It's out, so I ain't got nothing else to do.
Yeah, there's no more school. Brilliant.
Alrighty, well, mate, since you are the guest of honor, would you like to introduce our theme and just fucking take it away?
Oh, absolutely. I am not fully sure about the theme, but I'm pretty sure it is expeditions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
I
cursed
remember.
kind.
Of the cursed kind, yep. And I've got a real cursed one for you today.
Oh, fuck yeah. The more fucked
Yeah.
up, the better.
Oh, well, yeah, it's pretty fucked up, but it's more, yeah, it was doomed from the start, I reckon.
Is it like screaming mummy, drink the bug water cursed?
Oh, I should have done something like that. I should have just covered the entire Mummy movie.
Dude, I really, really wanted, because I did watch it a while ago. We all did, obviously, together.
Yeah.
I really wanted to do the meme of the mummy water. Let us drink the goo. I was like, that would be genius. I want to find out if anyone did drink the goo.
Yeah.
Cursed Expedition 2 Electric Boogaloo. We'll do it again.
Exactly. Fuck yeah.
Mention
Alright.
in the comment section, does she drink the mummy goo?
Please advise. I would drink the goo.
Fucking sip, babes.
I mean, COVID was not an accident. The goo preceded it.
I think we all know where the source was. Mummy goo. So, I'm going to be talking about a local story. I don't know if any of y'all have heard about Burke Wills expedition.
Yes.
No, never.
Yes.
No idea.
Yes.
No
yes.
idea.
Never?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, you're in for a treat. Yeah, if you
Oh yeah.
The big statue.
you're in here.
That's all I know. That everyone gets mad that the statue is still there.
The most fucking Australian fucking... Take it away.
Tell us all about it.
So yeah, if you haven't heard about it, it's basically just a bunch of dudes bumbling around the outback trying to get to the top of Australia during the years 1860 to 61. So also, just to set things up, I might accidentally call Wills Willis because that's what I thought his name was, like my entire life up until now. I'm picturing like Bruce Willis with a giant beard like this entire time. But,
so am I now, thank you.
Yeah.
So is everyone at home.
I enjoy this story a lot more than I did previously, thank you.
You're so welcome. You just assume that everyone in the story has a giant beard in your set, so there you go.
Oh, okay, so they're all hot.
Oh, absolutely.
Fuck daddy.
I'm into it, yes.
So,
Scrawny explorer muscles.
Yeah, actually, there'll be a detail like that later.
Oh,
stay tuned.
Be still my heart.
So the expedition was like specifically for the purpose of reaching the Gulf of Carpentaria, and it was like mostly in order to establish a route for a telegraph line, because Vic securing one would be like big cash money, you know. Could have been phrased better, but lots of dough.
And they're making money moves.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And they wanted to find new grazing land, you know, scientific discovery, all that jazz. And it would have be the first expedition to traverse Australia from south to north. So it's a big thing. It's a big deal. Like when these guys were going away, there was like a crowd of 15,000 people just, you know, going to wave them off. I don't know if you guys...
I don't think that many people gave a fuck.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, yeah, but it's a miracle they ever made it out of Melbourne. You'll see why. So an exploration committee formed by the Philosophical Institute had to choose some people to lead the expedition. And despite being called the Exploration Committee, there were only like 2 people in it who had experience in exploration. So that's a great start. Their names were Ferdinand von Muller and Willem Barentz, which are the best names ever. And unfortunately, they were pretty much always outvoted by the rest of the committee when it came to organizing this thing. And so, like, any input from them, probably didn't really make it very far. And I put a bit of research into why this is the case, and I often find, like, factionalism, which is like when smaller parties within bigger groups all vote the same way toward a common goal and stuff like that, which I believe is true. But also, what I did find out is that Blandowski got into a lot of trouble with the committee after naming some fish after members of the Philosophical Institute's council. And described... he described
about the fish.
Let me give you some of the descriptions of the fish. There's slimy, slippery fish, lives in mud, which, you know, me, but I digress. Easily recognized by its low forehead and big belly. And so there's pretty much no proof that this is intentional.
Oh, so he was throwing shade.
But like, I feel like he might have been. I reckon so.
I love it. That's amazing.
So yeah, it's probably why they didn't want to listen to him. And so the committee outvoted these guys and recruited one of our heroes, a man with absolutely no exploration, navigation, or surveying experience, Robert O'Hara Burke, to lead the expedition. And he is a gigantic arsehole. We'll get into that later.
Yes.
Love it.
They selected William John Wills as third in command, with responsibilities to do with navigation and surveying. And to be fair, he had a little bit of experience, but you know, it didn't really help.
It was useless.
Yeah. So I think we should go over the packing list because this is incredible. I don't even think I got all of it. I had to search far and wide for even just this. And I've heard people say, yeah, they brought boats. They brought all this stuff with them. And I'm just, oh man, there's just so many sources. And there's...
Yes.
So
like, as when I used to go like on school camps in primary school and they would give us the packing list, I would lose my damn mind. The dopamine that would shoot straight to my brain upon seeing an itinerary and a packing list, dude, otherworldly. So this, oh my God.
Oh,
go.
Prepare.
Yes.
They, just to start off with, they took 26 camels with them, which they had imported from India. And, you know, because we've all seen The Mummy, camels are the best transport.
Naturally.
Obviously. Yeah. Apparently the packing list It weighed over 20 tons. It consisted of, I don't think they included the horses and the camels, but they had 23 horses and 26 camels.
Holy
I've got
fuck.
some names here, actually. You want to hear the names of the camels?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, we've got Landa, Bucha, Gotch, beer, like the drink beer.
Oh,
Oh yeah. Oh, I like that one.
They'll sing, love them. I think there was some rumored names here. One of them's Mr. Cassim, which I love. Any animal that's got like a Mr. or a Miss in front of their name.
Animals with human names gets me going very bad. Like I have a friend who's got a little dog called Kevin. My rabbit is called Barnaby. It's just there's something
Tim's
about
cat's
it.
named Dave.
Yeah, exactly. And when you can have a conversation about the animal with the name to someone who doesn't know it's an animal, it makes me so happy. Like Dave's pissing me the fuck off, dude. He keeps shitting on my fucking floor and I'm so annoyed.
He is at the moment. He's actually been doing that. He pissed on the curtains. He's taken a dump on the ground. Mate, he's gone fucking feral. He used to be such a refined gentleman.
Yep.
And now he's just gone full wildcat. And I'm honestly very disappointed.
Look,
I don't know what's gotten into him.
Look, mental health is something that we need to take very seriously. And if Dave is acting this way...
We need to have an intervention.
Yeah, something's up.
With the cat.
Oh, it's a cat.
Oh, it's a cat. Yeah.
Sorry, love.
So-
Continue.
Oh yeah, no. This is amazing. I'm so glad.
Our tangents.
So they also had 6 wagons, and instead of taking cattle for slaughtering during the expedition, they made the decision to send them off with like 3 extra wagons worth filled with dried meat. So like they had a shitload of jerky with them, and this obviously slowed them down a lot because it weighs a lot.
Yeah.
And honestly, peak road trip food, but shit.
They won't be shitting. A diet full of jerky. Mm-mm.
Fucking true. I didn't even think about that.
Dude.
It's going to help with the dysentery later.
Scurvy.
So I also had a cedar-topped oak table with 2 chairs.
Why?
And keep in mind, there was like 19 people in this thing.
It's so extra.
I like to think that Burke and Wills were the only ones who were allowed to use the chairs. And they could, like, stand or sit on the floor. They also had rockets, flags, and a gong. 50
gong.
gallons, a gong, an entire gong that they could just, have.
A whole ass gong.
I'm trying to figure out what it's for. Like, I'm like, okay, maybe it's to, like, show everyone where the camp is in case they
Dinner
get
time?
lost. Yeah, exactly. But I'm like, but isn't there so many other fucking instruments that would do better?
Just yell. Oi, cunt! Dinner's ready. Like, a gong?
Yeah,
The
nothing
word
can
"oi can't" like strike fear into me because that's such a crackhead yell, and when you hear that, you're like,
Oi.
"Oh no, it's me! It's always me that they're yelling at."
Visceral reaction.
It upsets me. My stomach just goes, "Oh no, someone's
no,
gonna
sorry.
try and mug me," or start a conversation about my fucking hair color.
Oh,
Please.
it hurts.
Oi, can your hair's blue? Do you know that? Yes.
Oh,
Yes, Chan.
I haven't had that yet.
No,
yeah.
don't get on a
We'll
bus.
see.
Don't get on any
Oh,
bus
God.
anywhere.
The trains have been, I think just everyone's still COVID scared, so they don't sit near me, which is nice. But I've had lots of people at work comment on it. And I just joke around and say that it's natural. What are they talking about? They seem to think it's funny.
How many times can you make that joke before someone's just like, shut the fuck up? No.
7 times so far.
Amazing.
You keep us updated on that count.
Done.
So
Keep a tally.
they also brought 50 gallons of rum, and this is interesting because apparently it was for the camels.
What? Why?
To help them with scurvy, and this will also come back later.
I need to know if
The
that
camel's
actually
eating
helps.
the biltong as well? Like, what?
Wait, what?
The jerky. Are they eating it as well? What?
Oh,
Scurvy? In the
probably.
camels?
I
How
have
does
no
rum
idea.
help with fucking scurvy?
Maybe I don't know how to read, and this is actually scurvy for people, but I feel like camels could get scurvy. They're
They
capable
probably
of it.
could.
Yeah, I believe it. And,
Medicine's wild, dude.
and they also brought lime juice, apparently. I remember,
That's for the scurvy, surely.
yeah, that's got to be.
Or maybe they're just making, like, what's rum, coke, and lime?
Oh,
Caipirinha?
Oh.
No.
I mean, there's like a million of them. It just depends on what else you add to it. If it's just Coke, rum, and lime, it's just a Oh, it's not a dark and stormy because there's no bitters in it. I don't know. Oh,
It's delicious. That's what it is.
is it dark rum or light rum?
Dark.
Yeah, I believe it's dark. They could make mojitos as well, though.
Yeah, exactly. I really want one now.
Oh, they also brought sugar, which would help with the sugar syrup. So that's like a whole mojito.
Mate. Mixologist.
Absolutely.
It's just a countrywide bar crawl, and they're mixing their own drinks at their own table. And the gong signals happy hour. Yeah.
The camels can drink at happy hour. They can afford it.
Oh my god, is that where the thirsty camel thing came from?
Oh my god.
Australian institution.
Oh my god.
Cracked it, lads. It's over. We can go home.
If you don't know, Thirsty Camel is like a drive-through pub that you have in Australia. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's truly amazing. It's a bottle shop. It's not a pub, but still.
It's a drive-through.
Many people will squat in the outside of the Thirsty Camel and just drink in the parking lot. So, you know.
They do.
It counts.
Absolutely.
It's a pub.
It's a monument.
Oh, wow.
So they also, of course, brought guns and ammunition because, you know, it was the 1800s. And they also had 6 tons of firewood because you need that to survive. So that was pretty much all I could confirm. I'm pretty sure there were more things because of the sheer weight, like 20 tons. You got to load that all up on the camels and the horses and stuff. You got the wagons. It's so stupid to bring some of this stuff. I had to sit down a few times and just breathe while I was researching this. And apparently, and this is the start of the bitch chronicles for Burke, he was offered like transport for some of this stuff up to a certain point, and he said no. And apparently, it could be because the guy who offered it voted against him during the appointing of the leaders of the group, and so he's bitter. Put that on the list. Burke is bitter.
Burke is what was that? Bitter? Yep, done.
Bitter. Good.
That's written.
Thank you. So the expedition consisted of 19 men. They all departed on the 20th of August from Royal Park. Do you guys know what Royal Park is? Yeah?
I don't, because I'm trash. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I was actually asking because I don't know where it is.
Oh, okay.
All three of us don't know. But
I'm
they said
sure
it from Melbourne, right?
Yeah, it was from Melbourne. And I think it's probably one of those places where they have like festivals and stuff, right?
It's one of the... We can confer now that it's definitely one of the places where people have been having post-ISO picnics and just day drinking.
Yep.
Oh!
Most likely.
Like any patch of grass in Melbourne right now. This last night as I was coming home from work, all the nature strips near my house just had people fucking drinking outside. I was like, oh, that's
nature
the kind of
strip.
suburb I live in now.
Holy shit.
It was nice. It was cute. It's quaint.
It does sound quite nice, actually.
I'm
like
a
one of those
suburb
hallway
girl
things.
now.
My suburb girl.
Yeah. And in the autumn, I'll ditch her. If you don't get that reference, please watch Black Books.
Yeah, it's good. It's good shit.
That's our listeners' homework.
Yep. Go watch Black Books and then get back to me about how bad my alcoholism is. Thank you. Cheers. Continue, Laura.
So, maybe because the load was 20 tons, one of the carriages broke before they even pulled out of the park, so that was a great start. And by the time they reached Essendon, which is really not that far away, if Royal Park is as close to the CBD as I think it is, 2 more wagons broke down, and it was like the end of the day. They didn't even clear like the entirety of the inner suburbs. Essendon.
They were still in metropolitan Melbourne.
So they're going slow. They're going real slow. There's heavy rains and there's bad roads, and they've got all this stuff, and they're just crawling along. And at one point, they stopped to unload a bunch of sugar and the lime juice and some guns and ammunition. Another point, and this is where the rum comes back, Burke orders that they dump all of the rum, and the second in command, you know, the guy right above Wills, who brought the rum for the scurvy, quits, and so does the surgeon. So those guys are gone. And so soon...
The surgeon?
Wait, what?
Fuck. The surgeon?
Yeah, the surgeon.
That
feels like an important person to have on this trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think so.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, shouldn't have gotten rid of the rum. Soon, most of the original party has been fired as well, and new people are hired in, and they just move on. So, yep.
All right.
Yeah. I don't know if they rehired a surgeon, but
I like to think that if they're ditching all the weight of things that are apparently not important, they were just like, nah, we don't need him. Don't get a new one.
True.
Don't worry about it. Do make sure that we have that fucking table. We definitely need the table.
And the two chairs.
Is the gong still attached? Like table gong? All right, the essential's gone. Let's keep going.
Continue.
Continue.
So, Victoria wants this because it'll look good for them. South Australia also wants this, and so they send their own expedition for the same purpose. And Burke gets wind of it and basically decides, we need to get there first. And he takes like the stronger members of the group and the best horses and leaves most of the equipment behind, and they go a bit further to Cooper Creek. And they arrive on the 11th of November. At Cooper Creek, they set up a little camp/depot while they wait for the rest of them to catch up. But they have to move very soon because of a plague of rats, because, that happens when you try and camp places.
A plague of rats?
What the fuck?
A plague of rats.
Not just like some rats. A plague.
A plague of it.
Oh, that's delightful.
Yeah. This is why no one should ever camp, ever.
I like camping. I don't like spiders.
Fucking right.
Yeah, I'm not into the spiders. Everything else about camping, amazing. Love it. Just not the spiders.
Even the shitting in a hole?
I don't mind that. I can get around it. It's fine. I mean, like, shit in a hole normally, don't I? It's just that there's a toilet seat above it.
Fuck, dude, you're blowing my mind.
Oh, no. Yeah, I can get into it. I'm one of those dumb people that gets really excited about the idea of, like, going bush and just living off the land, but then I'm like, no, I would die immediately. I would be that guy that tried to do it in the Canadian wilds, and, like, they found his body in what's his name? They made movies about it. Shit. They found his body in a bus.
A bus?
Yes.
Yeah. He just perishes.
Yeah, exactly.
Candle something.
Yes. Will McCandless?
Yeah, McCandless.
McCandless. I don't remember his first name. But anyway, that would be me. I'd be like, I can do it. I'm so clever. I have done all the research, and I would get out there and trip over a rock almost immediately and then just basically be stuck there for 6 months starving to death.
127 hours.
Yeah. And then I would just have to basically shit on myself, so have to get over that real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, shit.
Anyway.
Oh, shit.
Continue. Please go ahead. Let's stop talking about my bathroom habits.
We'll come back to it.
For now.
We'll return to this, because I have questions.
So, it's thought that, maybe Burke should wait at Cooper Creek, which they did name Fort Wills because it was a fort and it was, Wills was there. Because of the summer heat, they were just like, we should probably wait here until a better season comes around. And Burke just, he waits for a bit and then he's like, hey, fuck it, let's go. And it's, it's summer.
Typical dad. Like, no, I'm done with this. And then we're like, we really should wait for the repairman to come because the car's making a weird fucking noise. And he's like, no, we can power through. I don't want to wait anymore.
So this is part 2 of the Bitch Chronicles. He decides, let's go. Splits the party again. He leaves behind this guy called Willem Barentz. I think it's pronounced Barentz, and I won't pronounce it any other way. He leaves him behind the camp and tells him to wait 3 months. And then behind the scenes, Will slips in and he's just like, make that 4, maybe, make me hang around a little bit longer. Because he's the one who's got a little bit of experience. But, so, good on that old Wills. So the group go into they're going to the Gulf with 3 months worth of food, some camels and a horse, and it's like it's a miracle that skin cancer hasn't gotten them because it's about 50 degrees every day. And despite that, this leg of the journey is not so bad, and they reach the Bino River, which is just near the Gulf of Carpentaria. So they're almost there. They're almost there. Woo! They're not dead yet. Emphasis on the yet.
Job.
So.
What do you mean? I thought
Wills
this was a happy story.
Yeah, obviously, I would have brought a very happy story to this very happy podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Not full of death and misery and just general dismemberment.
Nah.
We're wholesome.
Sure. So,
I'm sorry, I've derailed too many times. Continue. Get past it. Ignore me.
I'll allow it. So they go ahead, alone, to reach the ocean, but they can't get through the mangrove swamps, so they turn around and go back to Fort Willis. So they made it, but did they also make it?
I mean, it sounds like they gave up.
Yeah, it kind of does. But, you know, it's the first time someone's transversed Australia from south to north, so, I don't know, they did something. Now they're about to do something else.
Oh.
Ooh.
Okay.
So by now they use most of their supplies on the way up. It took them a while to get there. I probably should have written down how long it took them, but I did not, and so here we are.
A long time. That's how long it took.
A fucking long time. So they have to kill and eat the camels and the horse.
Oh!
The horse's name was Billy.
Oh, why would you tell me that?
Because I told you the camels' names, and now you're going to hear the horse's name.
Oh, Billy.
It's like Lord of the Rings.
It is, and it's a never-ending story.
Oh, don't fucking bring up that fucking horse. No!
The swamp.
I'm so depressed.
Yeah. So they have less animals now to carry their stuff, so they have to get rid of a bunch of it. And
fucking hell.
one of their group, who's named Gray, catches a python, and they eat it.
Naturally,
and Gray,
as you fucking do.
Yeah, it's a great idea. A great idea, because his name is Gray. I got it. But yeah, Gray. Gray and Burke get themselves a hearty dose of dysentery, which is pretty much just shitting a lot, dehydration, fever. You shit blood, which is amazing. So
yeah,
thanks for
that's death.
And Burke, part 3 of the Bitch Chronicles, thinks that Gray is faking and beats him when he catches him stealing skilligally, which is like porridge. And soon,
how dare you pretend to shit yourself to death?
Only I may be sick.
Oh,
and then soon Gray dies of dysentery.
I told you I would stick on a headstone.
And Burke lives for some goddamn reason.
Okay. It's all the rage that's obviously inside him.
Yeah.
Fueling him on.
Mm-hmm.
Up with this guy. So they finally return to camp at Cooper Creek, and the other guys have only just left a few hours earlier, having stayed longer than they were secretly asked to, so more than the 4 months. And they left that morning, and these guys are just getting back, and they're maybe, I don't know, 7 hours ahead. I'm also pulling that out of my ass, so don't quote me on that.
Much research was done for this.
Yeah.
Dude, what? The day of.
Yeah.
The day of.
Oh my god.
And they left because Breaky's party all got scurvy and supplies are getting low, and they're like, okay, so let's just carve some instructions into this tree, say where some supplies are buried, and just dip, you know? Let's go. Good idea. And so here we have the dig tree, and the dig tree is marked dig tree. Oh, I'll read it as if it's a sentence, but it's all in big letters, and there's dig 3 feet northwest, April 21, 1861. That's pretty much what it says in the dig tree. And so, Burke Wills party, which is by now just them and some other guy named King. King. They dig up the supplies and figure, all right, yeah, we're not going to catch up to them. We can't really chill here. So let's just go to a station at Mount Hopeless and we'll be right. We'll be good. All right. And then they bury a message under the dig tree and make sure that there's no trace of them having been there so that no one who isn't supposed to dig it up digs it up. Thinking like an explorer. And so, Brahey, on his way back, you know, the way he came, encounters the Wright supply party, who have had their own issues with malnutrition, troubles with the heat, and also plagues of rats. That's right, the rats are back.
I didn't know plagues of rats were such a big fucking thing.
I was thinking about it, and maybe it's the same plague of rats.
Oh, I really hope it is. I hope the little ratty babies came back and were like, yes.
Generations.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
I hope that plague of rats is still out there.
It's a rat king now.
Yes!
Yeah, rat king.
I want a rat king tattoo.
Dude, same.
Yeah?
So, this is to the point where I think that everyone except for Wright and the Wright party is dead. So, he meets up with Wright. Brady's meeting up with Wright, and they go back to check at the old dig tree just to see, just in case. Have a look around, and because of the old Burke and Wills' efforts, they don't find shit because they think that they covered their tracks too well. So they just leave. And later on, Wills comes back to check just in case, and then he finds no trace of Grady and moves on again. So they just keep crisscrossing over this one thing, and they don't find each other. So, back to Burke's group. They're given nourishment from the Yandrawanda people. I think that's how you say it. Yandrawanda people, until apparently Burke, like the bitch he is, welcome back to the Bitch Chronicles, he shoots at one of them and they leave.
Fair.
Uh-huh. So, Wills dies in a go on without me fashion because he's too weak. He's dying. They're all dying, but, he's dying a bit faster. And he just stays. And then Burke dies while trying to find the Yandrawanda people with King, who eventually does find them and is saved by them.
Oh.
So apparently, Burke and Wills had been eating nadu, which is a plant which has been known to eat by the Yandrawanda people after special preparation to remove an enzyme which causes beriberi, which is a lack of B1. And so all those explorer muscles, as we mentioned before, they're all just like shrinking down, skin on bones. There's a little bit of so they didn't do the special preparation, obviously, and this likely contributed to their succumbing. Here we go. Wills wrote in his diary at the time, "My legs and arms are nearly skin and bone." So there we go. Good death.
Hot.
Overall, it's incredible that Burke didn't get strangled to death, but life's full of little miracles, So there we have it. We got us a story of historical significance and immense buffoonery.
That's beautiful.
The Australian way.
Yeah.
The Australian way.
No wonder we are the people we are. Look at our forefathers. Fuck, that's depressing. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, here are my sources. So I got a fair amount of it from burkeandwills.net.au, which exists. Go check it out. There's also digtree.com, the National Museum of Australia, and, of course, Wikipedia.
Amazing. Wikipedia. All hail. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Yeah.
That was really good. And I did not know a lot of those details, and now I'm really, really sad about them.
I really want a rum and coke with some lime in it.
Oh, Billy. Pull one out.
The priorities.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Dude.
This entire time I've been plotting out some kind of Coen Brothers-esque film to write about this.
Yes.
Amazing. Please do.
Please do.
That would be, do that. Magnum opus. Please do.
All right.
Yeah. I guess you did the south of the planet. I'm going north.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I'm next. I have a story. I have a time for you. So, have either of you heard of Willem Barentz?
No, not a zilch.
Excellent.
Not at all.
Good. Excellent. Because I hadn't heard of this either at all, and I had a really fun time learning about all of this and getting very frustrated with this man.
Yes.
But also, I feel really bad for this man. But mostly I'm frustrated. Okay, so I think he was just fucking cursed in general. Like, he just didn't have a good time. He had 3 voyages, and we're going to go through the first 2 nice and fast. But first, I'll tell you about who he is. So he was born in 1550 in the Netherlands, and he was a Dutch navigator and Arctic explorer. His surname, Barentz, is actually a patronymic name. So that's it just literally means Barentz's son. Barentz.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, how they in Russia, your surname is dictated by who your parents are, which is really interesting. So he was he was a cartographer. Words. I'm sorry, I'm very sweaty, and I'm just distracted by it.
Australian summer. Here it comes.
You really do be like that.
I know.
really do
I'm
be
such
like
a sweaty person normally as well, and it's just, I'm sorry, everyone. I'm glad you can't smell me. Anyway. So he sailed to Spain, and he completed an atlas of the Mediterranean, which he co-published with a guy called Petrus Plancius, or I have no fucking idea if I said that right, but he was one of the co-founders of the Dutch East India Company. or
Okay.
otherwise known as the villains in literally every non-European story throughout the 16 to 1800s.
Oh yeah, those guys.
Yeah, those guys. I fucking sucked. So, because of his extensive voyages and his very accurate charting and his valuable meteorology data that he collected, he's regarded as one of the most important early Arctic explorers. So he's a big deal. People liked him. I don't know how we hadn't heard of him, but yeah, important man. So he was convinced of the existence of a thing called the Northeast Passage or Northern Sea Route. And that was a thing that obsessed a lot of Europe for like the 11th century onwards until it was finally discovered. Because basically what it was like a passage between Europe, essentially, all of Europe, and the East Asian countries that didn't go all the way around the fucking bottom. And I'll explain a little bit more about that in detail in a second. But pretty much it would mean like exactly like what La said about substantial economic growth because of this connection. If the possible seaway was found connected the Atlantic and Pacific Ocean, it would mean lots of money because they could trade with China and Korea and all those countries very easily. Traders from Portugal were making a shitload of money trading with China, and the Dutch want in. So, and as does the rest of Europe, but the Dutch are like, no, we want it extremely badly. It's interesting to note because, like, I don't know if I'm pretty sure Tay watched it. The Terror TV series.
No, I haven't. I want to really badly.
It's really good. I like a lot. So the HMS Terror and the HMS Erebus of Franklin's lost expedition were searching for the Northwest Passage, which is basically the same thing, but it went west, and it was fucking really long. But Europe really, really wanted that passage to East Asia, so everyone was fucking looking for it all the time. They just went different ways about it. So basically, when Barentz was looking for this Northeast Passage, the way you get to China and Eastern Asia is pretty much by going through the Suez Channel that's between Africa and Asia. So it's like a very small channel that separates the two continents, and then you have to go way around the bottom of Asia. And it's a lot shorter if you basically go over the top, but they couldn't find a way to do that. They didn't know there was actually a connecting way at the top. They basically assumed that it was all iced over, or potentially there was just like land mass all the way up there.
Oh yeah, and if I knew nothing about it, I'd think that too.
Yeah, exactly, that's it. It does exist. It lies east of Novaya Zemlya, which is a giant island north of Russia, and it runs along the Russian Arctic coast from the Kara Sea along Siberia to the Bering Strait. I looked at it, I was very confused, but it's there, it exists. So pretty much he was 100% certain, this is Barentz, Willem, because in the north of the Arctic Circle, the sun shines for 24 hours a day during summer. So he was like, well, naturally, it's going to melt any ice up there. And that phenomenon is called the midnight sun, which I thought was very pretty, and it sounds like a Twilight novel name.
It is a Twilight novel name, isn't it?
Is it?
I think so. Is that the one where you see it from, what do you call its point of view?
Yeah, so it was leaked, and then she was like, fuck this, I'm never releasing it. She released it this year because she was like, hey, I'm actually a good person.
Is she? She gets really salty about this, doesn't she? Because she's done it a couple of times.
She's no fucking J.K. Rowling, so I'm suddenly a big Stephenie Meyer stan.
We don't know that she's a TERF, so that's good.
Fuck you, J.K.
Fuck you, J.K. Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah, naturally, that's what she's doing with her time.
So much vitriol. Fuck you.
How could you ruin a generation of like readers' just enjoyment of your work? How could you do that to us?
Because she's a TERF. Anyway.
Trans women are women is what we're saying. So, first attempt to find the Northeast Passage. He started off on the 5th of June in 1594. So he departed from the island of Texel on a small ship called the Mercury, something retrograde.
Setting it up for failure here at this point.
Yeah, exactly. It's not going to fucking go well. So one of the three vessels, he was on one of the three vessels that were sent in different directions attempting to enter the Kara Sea, which is the one we mentioned before, by Russia. So they stopped for 6 days in late June on a place called Kildren Island, which is a really small Russian island. And then, I don't know why the fuck they stopped there. They just did, and apparently it's important. And then on the 9th of July, they encountered a polar bear for the very first time.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah!
The dream.
They had literally never seen one before. They had no fucking idea what it was. They were just like, oh my god. On an
Is
island.
it just these guys or humans overall?
Well, but humans have probably encountered it before because I think it's the Inuit people is now the term that we are intended to use. I'm very sorry. I should have checked that before. But the people that are native to that region would have like lots and lots of history with them. So humans have definitely seen them before. It's just that the Dutch had never seen them before because they'd never gone this far north.
True?
Yeah, exactly. And polar bears are fucking super cool. Did you know that they're considered hypercarnivorous?
What does that mean?
It means that their diet is more than 70% meat.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I know, which is apparently, like, I'm a baby and I'm very dumb. So I was like, oh, if you're carnivorous, you just eat meat. That is not the case. Because a lot of, like, animals that we consider herbivores do eat meat. Like, I've watched videos of horses eating fucking chickens, like live chickens, just scooping them up and chooping them down.
What?
Yeah, because they need calcium and things like that. So when they feel deficient of something in their diet, like cows do it too. They'll just eat a fucking animal.
Oh my god.
Dude, horses do whatever the fuck they want.
I'm really spooked of horses just because their legs are literally like the same makeup as fingers. And that shouldn't be. Like, that's how the joints work. They're just walking on 4 very large fingers. And their feet are just made of fingernails. What the fuck? And now they just scoop up birds and eat them.
They do. I love horses.
No.
Horses are metal as fuck. No, horses
They're
are
so
sick.
spooky.
I love them.
I don't know if you guys have seen Spy Kids, but, like, Fluke's not too far this time.
The thumbs.
The thumbs! Oh my god, they're horrific. The sexy nurse thumbs with the fucking manicured nails.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
I've forgotten about the nurse thumbs.
That's Rodrigo. What's his name? Yeah,
no.
I'm pretty sure. What?
Yeah.
Okay. Someone's going to be like, fuck, they're so dumb. Listen to this, please.
It's that meme that we posted way back when, listening to a podcast and the casters not knowing the name of the celebrity / movie / book, and you just like, screaming.
Yeah, okay. Exactly.
Dumb shits.
Fuck. Well, we're as dumb as fucking Willem is, because having never seen a polar bear before, he and his crew naturally tried to fucking capture it and take it back to Holland. As you do when you come across something that's hyper carnivorous.
Yeah.
So, like, it tried to climb aboard the ship and they shot at it with a musket, and then somehow, with a leash, they managed to get it on the fucking ship. I don't know.
A leash?
What is sailing at this point? I don't know how the fuck they managed to do this. But then the bear did what the bears fucking do, and it killed a bunch of people. It rampaged, and so they killed it.
This all happened on the ship?
This happened on the fucking ship. They got it on the ship.
Oh my god.
Because they had no idea. This is a small ship. And they were just like, yeah, okay, put this fucking predator that is actually one of the best predators in the world, the most successful. And then we're just like, okay, now what do we do with it? And it just fucking murders
people. It's on a leash. We're done. Work's done, guys.
I can't even hold on to, like, a medium-sized dog on a leash very, like, well. So I don't know who the fuck thought that they could try and maintain this polar bear on a fucking leash. Like, okay, sure, guys. Anyway, so they murdered it. Then they discover a little chain of islands called the Orange Islands, and they found a herd of 200-odd walruses, and again, we're like, dope, let's kill them.
Oh, fuck it out.
See, my idiot brain is like, Orange Island is like, oh, Pokemon.
Well, that's what I found when I was trying to Google it. I was like, okay, show me what these islands look like, and it just kept taking me to Pokemon shit. I'm like, no!
And I was like, oh yeah, there's going to be the safari zone. They're going to see a bunch of Tauruses. Like, no, you absolutely
we're still in the Polar North. So yeah, they tried to kill them. They, with hatchets and pikes, tried to murder a bunch of walruses, and then were like, this is too hard. So they bailed, and they just took a couple of the tusks with them.
Jesus.
They're huge. Walruses are really fucking big and have knives in their mouths. Like,
they're so scary. They're such a scary animal.
They're so scary. Have you seen, like, people get attacked by just seals, even?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Terrifying. Leopard seals are fucking scary as shit, too.
Elephant seals.
Oh.
They shouldn't
man.
be. Well, they should be.
Well, yeah, exactly.
But I
And
don't
frightened.
like to. I know it's a lie. I love to witness them.
Yeah,
but never
exactly.
in person.
From
I'm
afar.
fine. I'll watch David Attenborough. Thank you.
I love the video of the bunch of tourists like crowded around a dock looking at a big ass fucking seal, like pointing at it and letting their very small toddler get really close, and then the seal just boops out the water, grabs a toddler and pulls it in.
Yes.
Jesus.
Fucking wild. They managed to get it out. The
Wild.
kid's fine. But I was just like, how
fine.
dumb do you have to be? Anyway. So, yeah, they tried to kill walruses. It was very fucking hard, naturally. I'm surprised no one died in the attempt. But they gave up after just a couple of goes and took home some tusks. They reached the west coast of this island, this Novaya Zemlya, and they follow it north. I'm totally butchering that name, by the way. If you are Russian, please tell me how to pronounce it. I tried many times. And then giant icebergs block their path and they go home. Apparently the trip was a success. I don't know why. They were just like, yay, well done. You did a good job. Like, okay. So they basically got back, and the Prince Maurice of Orange, the Dutch Republic prince, was like, fuck yes, brilliant. I'm so excited about how well you did last time murdering a bunch of animals and then coming home and not finding the Northeast Passage, that I'm going to send you out again with 6 ships and a shitload of goods to trade with China, because you're definitely going to find it this time. As you can tell, there are 3 voyages they didn't. So they head off in like June of 1955. 1595. I keep doing that. And basically they head off between the Siberian coast and Vagach Island, which apparently nothing fucking happens until the end of August, because then they come across 20-odd Samoyed wild men, is what they called them. They were just people, but okay. Racist.
Yeah.
One of the crewmen spoke their language, and they were able to communicate, so I don't know why the fuck they're still like, oh, they're wild men, like, you can talk to them. You know they're not. They're just...
I am angry when it is not about me.
Yeah, exactly. They sent a small crew to another nearby island to search for a crystal they had noticed, apparently.
It's an RPG side quest. Oh, yeah, there's a fucking crystal on that island. When we've got a second and we're high enough level, let's just go fucking get the crystal.
Exactly, just do it. Fuck it, why not? The thing is, like, I don't know how the fuck they saw it. I'm like, it's a lot of ice.
It's a big-ass crystal.
How did you fucking see it? But okay.
Someone dropped a pin on the mini-map.
Go back here. But yeah, so those dudes were also attacked by a polar bear.
Revenge.
Fucking hell.
Which killed 2 of their party. I don't know if they killed the polar bear. Didn't mention it, so I'm going to say that the polar bear won and ate them. But yeah, so they eventually turned back because they discover that the Kara Sea this time is frozen over, and this time the voyage is considered a failure. I don't know why this one was a failure and the first one was a success, but whatever. So now we get to attempt number 3. So Willem had not done well enough, and then this is like only 3 years after his first voyage. It's 1596. The State General of Holland was like, okay, we're not paying for any more of these fucking expeditions, but if you find it, then we'll give you money, we'll reward you, but we're not paying for it, so just figure it out. So the small town of Amsterdam outfitted 2 little ships, and they sent Willem off to find the passage. And he set off sometime in the early stage of May, basically. So we went a little bit earlier this time. They, on June 9th, discover Bear Island, and they call it Bear Island because they saw a polar bear swimming, and then they attacked it.
Oh, of course they fucking did.
Any time's the charm. We'll get him in the next one, boys.
Are any fucking animals safe from the Dutch in the 1500s? What is going on?
Apparently not.
It was fine. So apparently the polar bear's hide was invulnerable to their bullets. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's why they named the island after it, because they were like, very impressive. Name it Bear Island. Yeah. So that island is just above Norway, inland of Svalbard. So they also discovered Svalbard, but they called it Spitsbergen on the 17th of June, which is another island above Norway. And it's quite famous. Svalbard has like a lot of people that have gone and done different like research things there. It's very interesting. On June 25th, they discovered a bay, and they very creatively named it Tusk Bay because they found some walrus tusks there. They just keep fucking coming up with great names.
And Justin Long lives there.
Forever. He's just trapped there now.
That's where his little thing is at the end, his little doghouse. Oh, that fucking movie.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, God. That's what I've been thinking about this entire time.
I know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anytime a walrus comes up, I'm like, Justin Long. Okay, so then they got really creative again. They named a little location they found Vogelhoek, which don't know how to pronounce it, but apparently, according to Google Translate, that means bird corner.
Amazing.
Because they saw some big fucking birds there.
That's how I name things.
Right.
Those are amazing.
Bird
They
corner.
should work in Crayola.
Just like, bird corner, but chuck it into Google Translate into like some kind of Scandinavian fantasy name.
I do that all the time. This is how I come
Behind
up
the
with
scenes of a
fucking
writer.
fantasy names. I go on the fantasy name generator and then I put that name through fucking Google Translate into some language that I think sounds cool until I find one that are like, ooh, that sounds good.
Writing.
Yeah. Zulu. That's what we're fucking naming it. Okay, so Willem and one of the captains of his two ships had a disagreement over how to proceed. Basically, Willem wanted to go all the way around the northern tip of Novaya Zemlya, but Jean Rip, which I don't know, it's R-I-J-P. Who the fuck? How do you say that? Someone tell me.
Is it J?
R-I-J-P.
Nah.
I like Rip. I want to just say Rip because it looks cool.
Yeah, say Rip.
I'm going with Rip.
It's your story. You have the authority here on this podcast at this very moment of the day.
And I researched so thoroughly, obviously. Basically, Jean, Rip, he was like, this is way too fucking dangerous. I'm going home. And Willem was like, fuck you, and went northeast. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Almost immediately, Willem gets into trouble. So they... Yeah, who would have fucking guessed? So they round the northern tip of Novaya Zemlya, and a big-ass fucking storm hits them. Driving needle-sharp winds, heavy fog, lots of fucking big waves, bad times, and the ship is damaged. So they anchor on the eastern side of Novaya Zemlya, and they decide this is not fucking working, it's a failure. This is like just after that they've bailed on Jean, by the way. So it's like, okay.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, so they're like, all right, we're going to go home. And we'll tell Jean that we had a great time and we should have stayed longer, but we thought he might have missed us, so we're going home. So they anchor on the eastern side, and then before they get very far on their path home, they find their way completely blocked by ice. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Who would have thought?
I know, the polar fucking north. So the ice actually freezes the ship into the place so much so that it lifts it totally out of the water.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's just fucking on ice. So they're totally trapped. They can't fucking do shit. The ice actually cracks the hull of the ship because it's so intense, and they have to abandon it. So they drag their supplies out onto the ice, and they're forced to winter on the ice that covers Novaya Zemlya. So at this point, we have 16 men and one cabin boy, which makes me very worried for this poor cabin boy with 16 fucking dudes.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
I mean, yeah, okay. We know how a lot of these expeditions go when there's a kid. Because how many times do they eat the fucking kid?
Oh.
Anyway, they take the lumber from their very damaged ship and driftwood that they find on the island, and they actually build like a fucking big-ass lodge. 7.8 times 5 by 5 meters, which is 20 feet by 33 feet. And they name it the Safe House.
Oh.
It's a save point.
Exactly. Well, it definitely fucking is, because while they're trying to build this fucking lodge, they're attacked by polar bears.
Oh, Christ. Mate, the word is spread.
Yeah.
Like, homeboy at the start.
Villain's
fucking
cunt.
And then they tried to shoot another one, and then he shot him. Mate, roll up, all the cousins come. Fuck you up.
It's a polar bear mafia.
Word spreads.
Well, yeah, exactly. And polar bears are really fucking cool. So now we're having a fact corner about polar bears because I need to tell you how fucking cool they are.
Yes,
Oh,
please.
yeah, absolutely.
So even to this day, because they have so little human interaction, they are extremely unpredictable. Like, they're actually fearless towards people. And they do kill and eat people sometimes. By comparison, attacks by brown bears are usually due to, like, being surprised because they didn't know that people were coming. Polar bears, on the other hand, are stealth hunters, and the victim has no fucking idea that the bear's there until they get attacked.
Because it's just so white.
Yeah!
Like, the sun, it's all white out against the snow.
Yes! There used to be, like, a little myth that polar bears cover their noses when they're hunting so, like, with their paws. It's really cute. But they probably don't actually do that.
I would like to think that they do. That's really cute.
Don't worry, I have other
that is
really
cute
cute
that they
shit to
do.
tell you. I have even
Yes,
cuter
please.
shit to tell you.
Yes.
Oh my god.
I know. First, some very gory shit, though.
Yes.
Bring it.
So, brown bears, by comparison, often maul a person and then leave, which is why people, like, have a higher chance of living. Polar bear attacks, they're more likely to fucking eat you, and they are almost always fatal if the person doesn't manage to get the fuck out of there. And considering when you get attacked by a polar bear, you're probably out on the ice in the middle of fucking nowhere. So, due to the really, really small human population around the Arctic, attacks are rare, which is nice. However, a man who was a Japanese wildlife photographer, his name is Michio Hoshino, he was once stalked by a polar bear in northern Alaska, and according to him, it started running at him, but he managed to make it to his little truck. The bear reached the truck, tore off one of the doors of the truck before he was able to drive the fuck away.
Oh, fuck.
Terrifying. Yeah, they are so scary. And their hair is hollow. They have black skin to protect them from the sun. Because obviously, 24-hour days during
Yeah.
summer.
Of course.
And their hair is hollow, so it's not actually white. It's the sun reflecting off it that makes their hair look very, very white.
What?
That's so cool.
And the cutest thing
Perfect
ever,
predator.
adult males have well-developed friendships, and while they're solitary, they'll play together for hours and even sleep embracing one another.
Oh, God, my heart. Fuck.
Polar bears are fucking sick.
What if the one on the boat that died had a best friend that was waiting for him? Fuck.
Dude, he was
Fuck,
waiting
dude.
for years. Oh,
You can't say that to me, dude.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I can't do
I'm
it.
sorry. I'm sorry. Anyway,
oh fuck.
so the polar bears would literally climb onto the deck of the ship. They fucking were badass. They were just no fear. They would get right up onto the deck of the ship. So, like, the men were fucking terrified because polar bears are huge and there's only 16 dudes. So they defended themselves by literally throwing anything off the ship at the bears. Just any fucking...
Oh, no.
Not the kangaroo boy.
It makes me laugh. Yeah, exactly. It makes me laugh so fucking hard because they literally go from, oh my god, we've never seen a white bear, let's take it home, to where the fuck did all these bears come from?
Yeah.
And it took them like 2 months to build this safe house. So like they finished it at the end of October. So they were literally just trying to fucking defend themselves from polar bears constantly for 2 months. But I was pretty fucking impressed by what they managed to build, to be honest. So, and it'll come up again later. But basically, they had bunks all around the outside wall of the safe house, and in the middle there was a big ass fire. They had a very large barrel that they used as a steam bath, which is more luxurious than my fucking house. They had another barrel on the top of the safe house, which they used as a lookout to shoot the attacking bears and keep an eye out on sneak attacks, because that's how they hunted.
Innovation.
I know. So at first they were suffering but in good spirits, and they called themselves the Burgers of Novaya Zemlya. Don't know what burgers means. I don't know. I didn't look that up. But they had a really cheerful party on the remaining liquor, and they crowned one man king of Novaya Zemlya.
Ah, yeah.
Delightful.
Delightful. So then November hits, and all the cheerfulness goes because the sun stops rising. They have hit polar winter, which is permanent dark. If you've watched 30 Days of Night, you'll know exactly what I mean.
Recommend.
Basically, yeah, exactly. Great movie. Great vampire idea. Loved it.
Absolutely.
Oh. But basically it's polar winter, so the sun literally does not rise for a month plus. So it's so cold that their socks would burn before their feet could actually feel the warmth of the fire, no matter how close they were.
Oh, fuck.
Yep. They started sleeping with stones and cannonballs they'd warmed in the fire, which is exactly what you do in Don't Starve. If you play that game, fucking tell me.
That's exactly what I thought of when you said that. Oh,
I love it.
dude. Such a good
I'm
game.
so bad at it, but I love it. All the merchant fabrics that they were supposed to be trading with China, they used to make extra blankets and clothes to stay warm. Because they basically had to stop trying to wash their clothing and blankets because it would just freeze solid and it would never actually it would never thaw at all. Like even if they literally held it over the fire, it wouldn't fucking thaw. So they had to like just keep using the same blankets or clothes, which wouldn't have been great. So even with a wood fire burning at all times, the sheets on their beds would freeze solid. Yep. Along with whatever they would cook and try to eat. So they had to literally like stand over the fire to eat anything or drink anything because it was just frozen the second they walked away in this tiny fucking cabin. That's fucked. I can't imagine how cold that is. Like, no fucking way.
If you go out there and like sweat or something, then it just instantly freezes or something.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can get some good old hypothermia.
Don't cry, whatever you do.
Oh, jeez. I would be crying the entire fucking time, dude.
I would have cried the second we set out on the next mission.
Yeah. Oh, my eyeballs would have frozen solid.
Can that happen?
I don't know, but I really want to. Because I'm just thinking of The Shining.
Yeah.
At the very end. With his eyes frozen open. Horrifying.
You can go snowblind, I think. Or maybe that's...
Yes.
Sunblind.
That's a different thing.
Snowblind.
Yeah, that's when you're basically, because the sun reflects off the snow, it's like staring at the sun.
Oh, yeah. So you like get a white out and you just don't see anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you can permanently damage your eyes that way.
Let's just stay indoors. I've liked isolation for the most part. I think I'm just going to stay here.
I don't like, I've never seen snow and I really want to, but I don't have any desire to go to anywhere that has like the Arctic, for example. Like I know people go on cruises and stuff and it's apparently really beautiful and that sounds really interesting, but I also like being warm. I'm a baby.
Also, we've seen the Titanic. We ain't sailing in a fucking icebergs.
Fucking right, exactly. No, I would not get off the door for anyone else. It's my door. Okay, anyway, so the other thing is there's no outlet for the smoke of the fire.
Oh, no.
So they're just breathing it in. They're literally just constantly breathing it in. So they have the worst coughs. Their beer froze in the casks, totally bursting the casks. Because obviously they had a shitload of beer, as you do. We know that spirits are naturally a very important thing to have on expeditions now.
Of course.
Of course. They had a clock, but it froze solid and just stopped working.
The clock
even
froze
work?
solid?
Yup. They did have an hourglass.
Froze time.
I know, exactly. They had an hourglass, but they had to like turn it every 12 hours and constantly keep an eye on it so they knew whether it was night or day, because otherwise they had no fucking idea. The ship's carpenter kept a diary, and apparently by the 8th of November, and they were frozen over in mid-July, remember, they were low on beer and bread and having to ration their wine.
Oh, God. A nightmare.
Hell.
Nightmare. Anyway, so they caught and killed Arctic foxes and polar bears and lived off their meat as much as they could, which makes me really sad still. Anyway, they're super malnourished. They definitely have scurvy and they're dying of exposure by this point. It's a fucking bad time.
So breathing in all that smoke would like leave them with so little brain cells left.
Yep, exactly. Like, breathing in smoke does so much fucking shit to you. It's just awful. Like, every time I hear about a fire and you know that people have obviously passed away from it, I'm just always like, oh, I don't know if I hope it's the smoke inhalation or the flames that killed them, because both sound fucking painful as shit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I'd be so mad if I got stuck on this boat and not John Rick's boat.
Yeah, right.
I'd be fucking fuming.
I'm surprised that Willem didn't get murdered the second that all this shit started going down. Like...
100%.
The king of the
Yeah,
Zemla should have been like, someone fucking sacrificed Willem to the polar bears.
Bring back the daytime.
Bring it back. Well, interesting that you should mention that.
Oh.
So they are the first people to record witnessing the Novaya Zemlya effect. Have you heard of that?
No.
This is really interesting. So the first person to actually record the phenomenon is the ship's carpenter. He's like the scribe for the whole journey. His name is Gerrit Gerrit Devere. There we go. Basically, it's a mirage that takes place in the polar circle, and it makes it look like the sun is rising literally weeks before it should be.
What?
It's to do with the curvature of the Earth and, like, how it bounces off everything. But yeah, it's fucking wild. So, like, pretty much Devere and another crew member claim to have seen the sun appear above the horizon 2 full weeks before it was supposed to be rising. And this is on, like, the 24th of January in 1597. And the rest of the crew was like, fuck off. Don't fucking lie to me. They actually, like, got really mad and accused Devere of using the old Julian calendar, except that instead of the new Gregorian one, which had been introduced a couple of years before. They're like, fuck off. You just don't know what day it is.
Someone didn't turn the egg timer.
Yeah, exactly. But then, egg on your face. Just a couple of days later, on the 27th of January, the sun was seen by all in his full roundness. And so for centuries, the account was like, everyone thought it was not true. Anyone who read about this was very skeptical, way up until the 20th century when the phenomenon was finally proven to be genuine. It's wild. And a lot of the skepticism that came from this phenomenon actually, like, threw skepticism over some other parts of what happened on this journey. Yeah, it's wild. So, like, a lot of stuff that happened, people are like, well, if you lied about this, you lied about the rest of it. But it's true. It actually happened.
Wow.
And even more fucking interesting. So, like, scholars have studied the saga of Eric the Red, which is, like, a Viking man back in the day. It's not really much about Eric the Red. It's actually about some of his kids or whatever. And they've suggested that the effect actually might have helped the Vikings discover Iceland and Greenland, which are not visible from the mainland under normal atmospheric conditions. I know, it's really cool.
It's all coming
like
together.
Fantasy story.
It's so cool. It's definitely like a fantasy story. I love it.
That's really dope.
It's really dope. It sounds really cool, like the saga of Eric the Red. I want to read it one day. Anyway, so they were caught in the ice for a full year. Like, June came around again and the ice was still frozen. Like, they were expecting it to melt and it never fucking did. Yeah.
The disappointment.
I know. They're like, okay, well, summer's coming back. And obviously Willem, the whole reason for him being like, there's definitely a northeast passage is because, like, oh, the sun shines 24 hours a day in summer. So naturally the ice is going to melt. So he's just hanging out like, it's coming, guys. It's going to fucking melt, I promise you. And then it just didn't. So they bail. Instead, they hammer together 2 little boats from the wreckage of the old one, and they try to head back the 1,600 miles or 2,575 kilometers home.
Nah, dog.
That's such a big number that I just don't understand it. I don't drive, which is probably a big reason why I don't know what the fuck it is. But
just any number sounds big to me. I'm like, oh fuck, I couldn't walk that.
Yeah, exactly. I can walk 1 kilometer in 15 minutes. I think that's right. Or is it like 1/4 of a kilometer in 15 minutes? I don't know.
I feel like it'd be 1/4 of a kilometer, right?
I don't know, man. I learned it once in like year 7 and I've only retained half the info, so it's basically useless.
We're all uni students.
Yeah, we're all smart.
People let us into institutions.
They shouldn't have. Anyway, so they drag their little boats over the ice on sleds, because like if they tried to do it without the ice, just totally cuts up the bottom of the boat. So they have to make little sleds as well for the boats. Several of the men are way too weak to walk, including Willem. They have to navigate the huge mass of floating ice that basically could totally cave in their boats or flip them once they actually get to the water, which would mean death in like minutes. So basically, like, it's just a fucking terrible time. They've dragged these boats with only like a couple of dudes because half of them have to be in the boats because they're way too weak to just walk, let alone drag a fucking ship. Over to the ice of this big ass island, and then they get to the other side. And then once they're on the other side, they have to fucking try and just get around all these ice floes that are just terrifying because they are everywhere. Some of them aren't visible from the surface. They have to like constantly be looking for them under the surface. So at night, they actually end up tying the boats to the permanent ice because the day is very short, and they literally can't see anything at nighttime. It's completely pitch black. So they just have to tie it to the ice and wait until the sun rises again. On the 20th of June of 1597, Willem dies. Sorry, Willem.
Bound to happen.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
Yeah.
He apparently died in the middle of studying charts to get his men home to safety, which is kind of
Oh, That's
Yeah,
actually quite
exactly.
nice.
I know. There's a really nice painting of it. Well, nice. There's a good painting of it. It looks very, very good. 7 days after they left, basically. And they have no idea where he died. Like, there's been no record of what they did with his body, whether they buried it at sea or on the island. His grave has never been found. The only thing that we know is he was 47 and he asked, apparently, I mean, this is the dude who wrote all the fucking things, so of course he would say it was him. Apparently he asked Gerrit de Veer to lift him up for a final look at Novaya Zemlya.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Sad times.
Oh.
Bit of an asshole. Killed a lot of polar bears and shit, but okay.
Yeah.
Anyway. Oh, fuck.
We love a great villain.
We love a great villain. So it took 7 weeks for them to reach the Russian mainland. And they get rescued by the guy who bailed on them, Jan Rip.
Fuck, that would be so sweet.
Oh, I know. He was just doing
Fucking
like a
told us
trading
so.
fucking mission, and he's just like, well.
How the turntables.
If it isn't the
Hello.
consequences of our own actions.
So, you said 7 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Cannibalism?
Apparently not.
Oh, good on you,
I
boys.
know, but
I believe it.
questionable.
But
Very questionable. So, only 12 men live. The cabin boy and 5 other men, including Willem, all die during the winter
Aw.
at the shelter, or on the ice. So basically, like, they're just dead. They're dead at various points. They finally reach Amsterdam. They get home safe. Their starting point on the 1st of November, 1597. More than a year after they took a waff. So yeah, basically the ship's carpenter, who had written his little account of what happened, he and a couple of other guys ended up publishing their stories about it. And then 270 years later, in 1871, the safe house was actually rediscovered.
oh,
I know.
that's cool.
Really cool. It was discovered accidentally, which I think is even cooler. By a guy called Ellen Carlson, who was a seal hunter / explorer.
Oh God.
No. He's actually really cool though. Like, a lot of his like deeds that he's done and the things that he discovered were really interesting. This was like a footnote of the things that he discovered. So he found it perfectly preserved. It actually had still pictures that the guys had drawn while they were there.
Oh,
No. I could just
the
imagine.
egg timer.
I know. I could just imagine the boys sitting there like really bored trying to play hangman or some shit. So he found the pictures. He found a flute. He found a copper, cooking pots, clothing, empty chests, and a bunch of other junk. And others who later explored the lodge found notes from the crew and from Willem, written in his own hand. They also found Willem's quill pen, a translation of a work on seamanship printed in 1580, and some candles that were nearly 280 years old but still capable of giving light. I
I
know.
love shit like that. Just shit like that lasts that long.
And yet my fucking t-shirt from Cotton On 3 weeks later has holes in it. Fast fashion is not the answer, guys. They also found the Amsterdam flag, which is kind of fucking sad that it was just still sitting there. And you can find all of these things today in the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam. You can go and look at them.
Whoa.
Holy shit! Hell yeah!
Now I gotta go to Amsterdam.
Let's go.
I mean, I already wanted to go just because I wanted to go to one of those cafes, but yeah, sure. I'm kidding. Cafe. So 2 of the crewmen, like I said, published their journals. And a lot of the people that read them were like, it's not true what happened. But the finding of the cabin obviously like told them that, yeah, everything that they said happened. And then even later they discovered that the phenomenon they talked about also happened. So, you know, very long vilification, but
Yeah.
I was right. Vindicated.
Yeah. I'm selfish, I'm wrong.
I love that song. So the former Merman Sea was renamed to the Barents Sea in his honour. Also, the Barents region, Barents Island, and Svalbard's second largest town, Barentsburg, was also named after him to honour him.
Aww.
Yeah. Those who made it back, despite all of the things that we said about him, are told of his inspiring leadership, along with accounts of the adventures they had with him. And even now, they are still told around Dutch fireplaces and remain very relevant.
Ooh.
Yeah. The first 3D Dutch film was actually made in 2011 about this whole story.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Isn't it really funny that it was 3D? I was just like...
In 3D? Like, what year was it? 2011.
11.
Oh, yeah. So, like, the shitty, like, 3D glasses you wear at the
Double D
cinema.
Piranha sort of
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Very good.
Very
Shrek
good.
2 out in 3D.
Oh, I know that I've seen a Shrek 4D movie.
4D, that was
World?
it?
Yes, I have. That is exactly what
Yeah.
I saw. The seats moved and it sprays slush on you.
Yeah. I've been to that.
Yeah.
I've experienced that experience.
Wonderful. And that's the story of Willem Barentz' 3 ill-fated explorations. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you very much. My sources are Top 5 Scariest Cursed Expeditions in History Part 2 on...
Fuck yeah, part 2.
Part 2! Thank you, Top 5 Scariest. You're one of my favourite YouTube channels. Shout me out.
Aw.
Shout me out. So much Wikipedia. God, I looked at so much Wikipedia. It's not even fucking funny. There's also another little YouTube video I watched called Novaya Zemlya HD, the amazing story of Dutch explorer Willem Barentz' Novaya Zemlya movie by Movie Trails with a Z.
Oh.
I also looked at Futility Closet, Britannica.com, OceanWideExpeditions.com, Encyclopedia.com, and I used a couple of papers from Ibesco because I need to get everything out of this very expensive uni education that I can.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit, I should have done that.
Yeah, dude. But yeah, that was my story. Thank you for listening.
Very
Well,
good.
thank you.
Any frickin' time. Tay.
Well, me.
Yes.
Tay. So, we've been to the desert. We've been to the ice.
Boy.
Let's just fucking get funky in the jungle.
Oh, I
Oh,
don't know why
boy.
the word
Get down, get
funky
down.
is so sexual and dirty to me.
Funky. Get down, jungle boogie.
Oh, yes.
All right, so, like many, if not all, cursed expedition stories, this is a curiosity killed the cat kind of story.
Oh, yes.
David Livingston, Christian missionary and heavily mustached Scotsman, is our
Oh.
cat.
Love it.
Good. Good.
He was
That's so
born in 1813, a Pisces gentleman.
Ah.
I decided
Into a
I might
very-
have a crush on him. I'm into it. Keep going.
He's very striking.
Oh.
He looks exactly how you'd imagine this man to look.
Okay, yeah, I have a crush on him. I'm hot for him.
Yeah.
Daddy.
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 He's born into a family of 7 children. His mother, his father, and all his siblings lived in a single room of a tenement building.
God, that's awkward.
That tenement.
Yeah.
How do you, like, they've obviously made a bunch of kids. How do you, I guess you just fuck and you just hope your kids aren't scarred by it. I guess you probably wouldn't even give a shit.
I don't know. I don't know.
I
It's
mean-
just, I don't know.
Child labour at the time. Surely they were all out of jobs.
Well, you mentioned child labour.
Oh, okay. Keep going.
Little Davo went to work in a cotton factory when he was 10 to support the family.
Oh, bless him.
Yeah.
I can't even
He
support
was-
myself.
I can't even support myself. So Davo worked in the cotton industry
Ooh.
for 10 years. So he's in his early 20s. We're going to fast forward. So he's working that cotton. He's 20, still probably living in that one room flat. He's also studying
It's a stove, yep.
Greek, theology, and medicine in Glasgow.
What the
Oh,
fuck?
fuck
I'm
yeah.
so unaccomplished compared to this
Yeah.
man.
I barely got through one semester of ISO uni without losing my
I
sanity.
had to drop one of my courses so I could
Yeah.
get it done.
Props to him for getting that degree
Yeah, well,
while
fucking
living
done,
in
dude.
literal poverty.
Yeah.
And he was such a star student that he was accepted into London Missionary Society in 1838. So he's 25. He's in that society. He's raring to get to China. He's like, get me there. But the Opium Wars pretty much snuffed those plans. So the Opium Wars sparked by China wanting to control their trade routes and being like, hey, let's not have narcotics. it's getting a bit out of hand. Once was medicine, now you're just being silly with it. And Britain is like, fuck no, we want our drugs. And then heading over to Bengal and growing it and selling it illegally back into China. Just a fucking shit show.
What the fuck?
So,
Britain.
yeah.
Yeah.
Essentially. So David's dreams of being a missionary in China were just nothing. He was super bummed. His cancelled trip. But he met with a prominent Scottish missionary named Robert Moffat. And turned his sights to Africa instead, because Robert's like, hey, mate, fuck China. Have you heard of Africa? And so he was ordained as a missionary in 1840, and in December of that year, he sailed to South Africa.
Dude, it sounds like being a missionary is way more interesting back then than it is now.
Essentially. It took him 4 months to get there. So as we've said with the last two stories, it takes fucking ages to get anywhere.
Dude, so long.
Yeah. And for like 15 years, Davo just bopped around Africa exploring and helping and doing all missionary shit. Now,
Living his best life.
Yeah. I feel this is kind of a grey area in terms of like ethics, because on one hand, you've got these missionaries that they want to help. They want to improve the quality of life of the people of this new region.
White savior complex. Love it.
Yeah. But these dudes are like so uneducated in terms of like indigenous people's needs and the environment, cultural issues, the agriculture, how their society works, and they just do more harm than good. It's like, well,
yeah. Did we
Anyway.
even need you? No.
No. Anyway, so David, according to my research, he seemed like an okay guy, like a Biden type, lesser of two evils. You might say. Absolutely frothed a map. Cartography was Davo's jam as well. So 3 months after his arrival into South Africa, he met up with Moffat, and Moffat was like, hey, Davo, you love a map, don't you, mate? And David's like, oh, fucking love a map.
Love a map.
And Moffat sent him off through Kalahari country. And Kalahari country is considered like super difficult terrain. And Davo explored further north than any other European at the time.
Bless him. He tried.
Overachiever. Oh, he got there. He's fine. Along the way, he got to know the local people. He learnt the languages, the customs, familiarized himself with the land he was on. He was also like super anti-slavery.
Oh, good.
And clashed with both like Boers and the Portuguese. Boers being like people of Dutch and German descent who colonized Africa. So basically like the population of white South Africans now are pretty much descended from Boers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So neither party were particularly kind to the African peoples back then, and Davo was having none of it. Gotten plenty of fights with them. Fisticuffs. So get this. Just a little side note, because this dude was super interesting. 1844, Davo was traveling to Mabotsa to start a new mission. He was just mauled by a lion.
Oh, fuck.
All right.
Yeah, that's all that they said. Like, he was mauled. He couldn't shoot a gun with his right hand, but he was fine. How did he survive? How did he not succumb to infection? Pure fucking willpower.
Yup.
Also, he's a missionary, so, like, he probably knew some medical shit. But, like, pure willpower, mate.
Jesus Christ.
So, a year after being mauled by a lion, Davo married Moffat's daughter, Mary.
Davo.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
House to family.
Yeah, he's canoodling with the boss's daughter. But she joined him on several of his adventures, and it was, like, super fun. 8 years in, though, she's like, I've had a couple of kids. I'm getting a little sick of walking all over Africa. I'm going to dip and go back to Britain. So she took her 4 children in 1852 and sailed back to Britain. So with Mary and the kids home safe,
Good.
Davo just kind of kept exploring.
Oh.
He went all over. So each expedition took like months at a time. He had more than a few more run-ins with Boers who actually attacked him at one point where he was living, and many of his like African friends and people he was working with, and he was like, fuck this. And just like super was not okay with this. He began to establish like a trade route from the Atlantic coast to undercut the slave trade with more like sustainable commerce. Like that was his like goal.
Ooh.
And this whole ordeal took like 2 years.
Shit. Okay.
Yeah.
This reminds me a lot of have you guys watched Penny Dreadful?
No, I want to.
Oh my god, it's so good. Eva Green.
Yes.
She has this like amazing scene where she is possessed. Early on in like she's acting as a medium, and like they're at this very fancy dinner party. And it's set in like basically the same time as your story is. but it's in London. And one of the characters is like he was an explorer, and he took his like kids on an expedition with him, and then like they fucking died, and he just kept going on his little expedition.
That's essentially how all the stories in this dude's history went.
It was just like, oh well, I'll make more. Guess I gotta find this river in Africa.
Was she channeling Davo? Because that, mate, we'll get there.
Penny Dreadful, so good.
Also, just quietly on the way through like Zambezi, he just discovered Victoria Falls.
Oh,
like he named it. This beautiful cascading giant water goddess. He just named it after the queen. But the original name is Mosi Oatunya, which means smoke that thunders, which is metal itself.
So much cooler.
Really cool.
Smoke that thunders.
It's so dope. And like that kind of got him a bit more like noticed back home. So 1856, he heads on back. He writes a bestseller, brings his family out of poverty, which Mary and the kids had been living in since they returned because he was just fucking around in Africa for no money.
Of course.
Yikes. And Davo was like, I do not see it. My family is fine. Yes.
Like, fair enough if you want to be a good person and like try and do some shit with your life, but maybe just don't get married and have kids if like, you know, you can't support them.
Essentially, but whatever. But ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between, this episode is on cursed expeditions, and there is a specific expedition that Davo embarked on, and I would like to tell you all about it right now, this very second. Okay, let's go. 1866, couple of years, a decade so, after he wrote his bestseller, he had his Eat, Pray, Love, David became just like really obsessed with the Nile River. And all of this reminds me of like being a kid and reading those like DK books about the world and history and being like, fuck yeah, the Nile.
I was literally about to say, like, I also have been very obsessed with the Nile River.
Yeah, like Egyptology books and shit, yeah.
Dude, I obsessed with researching it, and I like learned about that fish that can like crawl up your urethra.
Yes.
Oh, the piss fish.
Yeah, the piss fish.
Haunting, by the way. No, thank you.
That is
I'm sure there's an equivalent in Australia because Australia's fucked, but I'm just... No, thank you. Anyway, he went back to Africa with his Bible and his fist ready to punch pro-slavery dipshits and set off into the wild once more.
Huzzah.
So he went this time without any European teammates, instead like employing African and Asian men to accompany him. However, Davo wasn't the same young lad he once was and was overwhelmed by the conflicts within the party, as well as like raids and conflicts within the landscape, forced the party to veer into Portuguese-occupied territory, which he really super didn't want to do because the Portuguese were like super gross and racist and were like pro-slavery. And the route they took zigzagged like all over the place. And his party got like super annoyed. Like, you're just going around in fucking circles, mate. You old timer, like, stop it. And they eventually, like, all deserted him.
Oh.
Even, like, taking supplies on their way out. Like, fucking, you're not going to use this. Bye. And they just, like, yeeted.
Oh.
Yeah. And the deserters claimed that Davo had died when they got there back to Zanzibar.
Oh,
because, like, if they had been like, oh, we deserted him, they would have been, like, in super trouble. So, like, oh, no, he's dead. Whatever. Well, we know the tea. Davo was very much alive.
Oh my God.
And he pressed on in true explorer style, despite the disease, the hunger, and all other manner of ailments that he endured. He kept going. Chungle is fucked.
Fucking.
Yeah. So this is 18. I've got the wrong date here.
Oh no.
1869, not 1829, you absolute doll. 3 years since the exhibition began, Davo found his way alone to one of the supply caches, only to find it empty. So no food, no water, no party.
Oh fuck, no, Davo.
Yeah, shit out of luck. He came across some Arab traders though, and they helped escort him to a village called Bambara. Now the people of Bambara hadn't seen too many white folks in their time.
Oh, God.
So they greeted him in the most hospitable way they knew how. They put him in a zoo.
Oh.
Yeah. Which I thought was really funny seeing how a lot of people of color were treated by
Were put in zoos.
horrible white people. Yeah,
Literally.
So Davo
that's so...
ended up in a zoo. They put him in a roped-off area in the middle of the village and forced him to entertain them in exchange for food.
What kind of entertainment?
I mean, like, maybe he's finally working for some money for his fucking family. But
mate, money moves, am I talking? So I assume, like, I don't see, this is the thing, it doesn't really say in my research, but I assume it would have been just, like, white people things, like bad dancing and, like, going apple picking. Yeah. But essentially, like, he was there for ages, and because no one knew he was there, his party had deserted him and claimed him dead.
They all thought he was dead. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Oh.
But Davo is pretty famous back home, and news travels real slow back in those days. So there's lots of people back in English didn't fucking know he was, like, presumed dead. So after not hearing from him for several years, people went looking for him. His wife's like, I haven't had a correspondence from him in, like,
It's been a minute.
4 or 5 years. Maybe we should go look for him. So Henry Stanley, being one of those people, was sent off to find him. And he eventually did find Davo. And Davo was absolutely murked from malaria and dysentery in the zoo in Bambara.
Oh.
Absolutely fucking just roughing it in the Sahara, in the jungle, wherever it was. It was fucked. So Henry greeted Davo with the apparently famous line, Dr. Livingston, I presume.
Yay!
Oh!
Yeah.
That's so cool!
Yeah. So Henry rescued our sweet David from the makeshift zoo and set on returning him back to England after Samarana. However, Davo suddenly remembered, hey, I haven't found the origin of the fucking Nile yet.
Oh my God.
See you later, Henry.
No, Davo! Go home to your children!
He literally just ran off into the jungle alone.
Fuck's sake.
Off he goes. Only to succumb to malaria and just fucking expire.
Oh my God.
So he was found dead sometime later, kneeling in prayer.
Oh.
And in true Weird Sisters fashion, I shall conclude this story with a little gore, a little peppering of viscera.
Yes.
So in order to embalm Davo for the trip home, his heart and guts were removed and buried in African soil.
Oh, that's kind of romantic too.
Yes, they then preserved his body, which was then transported to the coast, which took 9 months by foot, by the way.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
So this party just walked across the entire continent of Africa with an old Scottish mummy on their back, essentially. And Davo was buried in Westminster Abbey on April 18th, 1874, a year after the discovery of his death. And David's heart will always be in Africa.
Oh!
And that is the story of David Livingston. Sources. So we've got what have we got? I had a Cracked.com's top 5 definitely clearly cursed expeditions of all time. I've got
amazing.
southafricanhistory.org.za, Wikipedia, Britannica, and several YouTube videos by PBS.
Thank you very much.
Lovely.
Thank you.
I have
Delightful,
a question.
wonderful. Yeah.
Does this guy have mutton chops?
Oh, he had the most glorious fucking beard. and what was it? Mustache. It all kind of just converged into one.
I love it.
I will definitely pop a picture up of him, but
Yes.
Do.
they eventually turned into chops.
Well, I can imagine why he was fucking in the jungle.
Yeah.
Not really shaving all that often, I imagine.
Yeah.
They probably just made a big old beard. Yeah. Big old head of hair.
Big old head of hair.
I love it.
Wow.
Admirable.
Admirable.
Very much. Well, thanks.
Yeah.
That was great. I would like to see
wonderful.
pics of all our explorers on Instagram this week. I think that
Yes.
would be a nice time.
Yes.
I see a lot of beards.
Yeah.
So many beards. I don't think Willem really had. No, I can't remember. I looked at
He
photos.
probably did towards the end.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, if it's fucking freezing your food before you can eat it, it's probably fucking freezing your beards as well.
Yeah.
True.
You can find all of those beautiful beard pics at weirdsistspodcast.com. Thank you again to La for joining us this week.
Yeah.
You're amazing.
You're
Thank
so
you.
welcome. And remember, kids who are listening, if you walk into any job and declare yourself the boss, that makes you the boss.
Exactly.
They're the boss. Yes. Check our socials as always. Leave us a review. We love it. We love the validation.
Yep. Tell us we're nice. I mean, interesting.
Please.
Anything. Just say nice things to us.
Please say nice things to us. And with that, we shall see you in 2 weeks.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, my loves.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.